Welcome back to River Talk. We're going to do something a little bit different, Deacon.
We are?
Yeah, I'm gonna interview you.
You're not serious.
No, I am serious.
I've got closets I'm trying to hide.
I gave you a
there.
second to get up and run out, and you didn't take me up on it. So, so you're in for the deal
All right,
now.
let's do it, man. Let's do it.
Yeah, a lot of folks, because they turn on the TV or the radio through the years, they may not know that you ain't from around here. I mean, you kind of fit in pretty well, but
well,
you make a lot of jokes about West Virginia, but that's where you grew up. Tell me about Huntington, where you grew up.
Huntington, West Virginia, home of the Marshall Thundering Herd.
Right?
Yes, I went to Huntington High School, graduated in 1968. The night I graduated, decided to come to Myrtle Beach. I'd heard all about it. All my buddies had spent previous summers there when they were in their teens. Mm-hmm. And I thought, man, I got to check this place out. So a bunch of us guys got together. I had $50 in my pocket.
That was a lot of money in 1968.
That was graduation money, but it wasn't a lot of money compared to the neighborhood I was raised in. It's like ghetto money.
Oh.
So we all jumped in an old T-Bird, came to Myrtle Beach, drove overnight. I remember 6 o'clock. It was right 6 o'clock in the morning. We're listening to James Brown all the way down on an 8-track tape.
How'd you guys get down here? Was 77 completed? I don't think so.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Was it?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
No. As a matter of fact, we came through Mount Airy
Yeah.
and down on Route 60, I think it was, or 64.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
We came through the cities, you know.
Okay, right. I got you.
So that's how we got here. But it took us several hours, and we got here early the next morning. I'm in the back seat. We're all basically passed out, except for the driver, thank God.
Yeah, that's good.
And so I'm laying back there. I look up, and the sun just started to come out, and we're coming over the swamps, and I see the sign, Horry County.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, God. So, man, I'm home, baby.
Yeah.
So then we got on into Myrtle Beach, saw the pavilion area, and saw a bunch of, scantily clad young ladies running up and down the boulevard, and I thank you again. And I just said, man, this is my home. I'm going to stay here. This
Really?
is nice.
Now,
Yeah.
Did you stay?
I stayed. And now
You didn't even go back home at all?
No, I stayed that summer. And the rest of
Really?
the guys decided to go back, said, well, we're getting hungry. We want Mama's cooking. I said, well, look, you never had my mama's cooking. I'm going to stay.
Right.
No, actually, she was a good cook. But I decided to stick around. I thought, man, if I go back, I'll stay, probably. I'll never, I've got to get out here in this world and experience something and do it. So I decided to hang loose. I had already signed up for the U.S. Coast Guard, so I had to go back in the fall to go in the Coast Guard.
Okay.
I went in the reserves, one of only two guys, my best friend and I, who got in the U.S. Coast Guard reserves.
Okay.
During the Tet Offensive and all that, all the excitement. So we were very lucky. It's like winning the lottery. But I went back in October. I left the beach. Went in, came back out like in March, and so I had to go back once for like the next 5 years. I had to go back and forth to Charleston, West Virginia for reserve
Once a
meetings.
month?
Once a month.
Okay.
Yes, I'd either thumb, catch a greyhound, or whatever. Mostly it was thumb. Back then it was a little safer. Well, I mean, until I got hit by a beer can once. Guy threw it at 55 miles an hour, knocked me into a ditch. That hurt.
Still something left in that beer can.
No.
And they were a little heavier back then, too.
A little heavier,
Yeah.
especially when they're full. But that pretty much, that's how I got here. And once I got here, I ended up, I did the lifeguard thing.
So you were lifeguard that first summer?
No, the first summer I worked at the Rivoli Theater.
Oh.
They had just opened the theater up like maybe a couple of years prior to that. And I'll never forget, around the corner at the Gloria Theater, we would pop the popcorn at the Gloria and then drag those huge bags like Santa Claus around the corner to the Rivoli to put into their machines. But they were playing Gone with the Wind at the Gloria Theater.
What year was this again?
That was 68.
Okay.
And I'm going, man, they're kind of behind around here, aren't they?
Yeah.
I saw that on TV when I was a little teeny kid. But anyhow, that's how I basically got here, and I liked it, and I thought I'm gonna hang loose, so I did. I ended up after that, I got into the lifeguard deal for a few years. Then I ended up where I was a carny on the boulevard. We did little odd jobs here and there. I would work at the. I got picked up one time to work Sloppy Joe's. They used to have a bingo down there.
Okay.
And they would put these little puppy dogs.
Like the hamburger place?
Yeah, they had hamburgers. Well, they had a meat tea and 3 and everything. They had, pinball machines. They had a bingo parlor. And they would have a cage outside with little dogs and little puppies. And people come by and say, hey, come on in, win your puppy. Come on in, win a puppy or $100. So I went in. And the guy did was set me up. He said, Deacon, I'll tell you what, man, so I'll give you lunch. So what you do, you win a puppy. I said, all right. So I played the game as a numbers game. I win the puppy. Bingo. I go out, pick the puppy, bring it in, set it up next to me, play a couple more games, make it look legit. He said, you want the $100 or we're going to keep that puppy? I said, I'm going to keep the puppy. So I would take the puppy when I'm finished playing. I'd walk down Ocean Boulevard, go back in the alleyway, come back down the alley, go through the back door of Sloppy Joe's. They had another cage where you put the puppy for a couple of days. so people wouldn't see the puppy out there and think I fell for the 100. So anyway, once the puppies got big enough, well, then they would actually give them away.
Right.
But when they're little and cute, that draws the people in to win them.
Okay.
So I got paid to do stuff like that. I was,
That's a little bait and switch.
It was. And then I got into the club business. Worked where the old Castaways is. When they first opened it up, it was the Idle Hour Lounge and Arcade.
Right, yeah.
I worked upstairs there, brought in a lot of pretty cool groups. Hamilton, Joe Franken Reynolds, the Ides of March, all these different big-name groups, along with some beach groups. I ended up going to California with the Hamilton, Joe Franken Reynolds troupe.
How did that happen, you guys?
Well, I didn't really have the money. I went to Huntington first. I met a stripper. And she was, yeah. And so she had $3,000.
Your stories are a little more colorful than
Oh,
mine.
yeah. I mean, I've had a pretty colorful life. But she says, well, I'd like to go to California. I said, well, hey, I got a place to stay, too, which I really didn't. We took our money. A buddy of mine had a car. We broke down in Kentucky. He went home. We got on a bus. We went on out there. I stayed with Tommy Reynolds of Hamilton, Joe Franken Reynolds, at his place in Santa Monica. Tommy, after about a week or so, Tommy says, Deacon, nice-looking girl. I said, do you know how old she is? I said, yeah, she's probably about my age, 21, something like that. He said, no, she's 17.
Oh, how did he find out?
I guess he must have had conversation with her.
Okay.
So he says, you've taken her probably over 7 or 8 in 7 or 8
What do they
states,
call that,
man.
the Mann Act?
Yeah,
Think
something.
so?
Yeah. So you got to get her on a bus and out of here. So sent her back. I stayed out there for like maybe several months. Came back to Myrtle Beach again. Ran some clubs. And then ended up on the road again and went to Chicago with the Ides of March. Traveled with those guys for a little while. Styx. Some of those bands, the Buckinghams and this and that. And that's where I first really, I mean, I had heard of Dick Biondi, because I had listened to Dick Biondi back many years ago,
sure, yeah.
Up at WLS in Chicago. So when I came back to Myrtle Beach from Chicago, I was asked to get into radio by your former boss, too, Bill Hennessy.
Right.
And I was up at Howard Johnson's Oceanfront Resort answering the telephone like Richard Nixon and several other people. And so he thought that was kind of cool, and I was helping Dick.
How did Howard Johnson's feel about that? You answering the phone like that?
Oh, they loved it. Yeah. The guy ran the place and said, "Yeah, Dick, man, do it, man. That's fun." So I would help Dick Biondi and Billy Smith do their thing at WNMB and those stations. And so Bill says, "Hey, man, would you like to try radio yourself?" He said, "Man, what are you wasting your time with these guys? Do your own show." So I said, "All right." So that's how I got into radio at WKZQ. And then, of course, the rest
What
is
year
history.
was that?
That was back in 77. Yeah, started right in 77.
Good night.
Isn't that wild? So pretty much that's kind of been my life story. And, of course, in between, I started doing my artwork. I got married in 1983 to Debbie Dorman, formerly Dorman, Dusenberry. Mm-hmm. And when I got married, she says, well, you're an artist. Why don't you use some of your artwork and sell it and try to make some money? Well, I said, well, I never thought about that, but I always have wanted to draw the old places I'm familiar with.
Now, what age did you know you had artistic talent?
Oh, when I was a kid. I sat in school and I'd, do the
Doodle.
Doodle,
Yeah.
yeah. Got in trouble all the time for it. So, and then I'd end up taking magic markers and trying to do the rat fink thing from California, and I would do back of people's, the kids' T-shirts and this and that.
I got you.
So I got into that back then, about many years ago, but kind of dropped it when I got into the entertainment business. Then my wife suggested I give it a shot again. So that's, I'd been fired from one of the radio stations.
Really?
Yeah. Well, I mean,
That used to happen a lot more than it does now.
you're not a true jock unless you've been fired 2 or 3 times.
Right,
You know
sure.
that. So that's how I got into back into artwork. I decided I wanted to draw Sloppy Joe's, draw the old Ocean Forest Hotel, and this and that, some old places that people might remember from the old days, and still do it today. So that's pretty much, and that's not. I mean, I got a long story. My granddaddy was a Methodist preacher. I came from a long line of Englishmen, the Scotchmen, the Dawsons, the Crabtrees. Let me see what the Tonys. There's just a bunch of people in my family. So, but
That's usually how that happens.
Yeah.
That's why they're called families.
That's
usually
exactly
a bunch
why.
of people in them.
Yeah. Let me see. I guess that's probably
Well, when did the movie thing come about?
Well, I said that was really weird. I would interview these actors and actresses and all that stuff, and I thought, when I was a kid, I'd lay in front of the TV sets. Man, I could do that. Anybody could do that stuff.
Yeah.
Of course, a little harder than I thought, but I ended up got in touch with Finn Cannons and Associates, and they said
So they had ties to this area.
oh yeah, they're big casting group.
Weren't they here in Myrtle Beach for a while?
No, they're in Wilmington.
Wilmington.
But they're big Emmy winners. They've
Okay, right.
gone all the way. So they worked their way up, but they've done great, and they're still busy. So I was doing a thing called King Kong Lives as an extra. And with Dave Sharp. You remember Sharp? A boy named Sharp. He used to work around here, carried a camera. Do you remember him, Don? Yeah. And so he and I went up and did that King Kong Lives, and I ran into Mark Fincannon. He's a deacon. He said, man, what are you up here being an extra? Why don't you get you an agent? It's all you need. Get some pictures made and this and that. He says, and maybe we can help you get into some movies. I thought, man, I've always wanted to do that. That'd be fun. So he's pretty much, they helped me get started in that business. And I've taken trips I've been to Louisiana, California, Georgia, Virginia, Florida, just different places doing movies and television shows. Got about 40 under my belt.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know it was that many.
Yeah. And plus industrial films where you get shot, get your arms blown off and stuff like that. You know.
Things not to do like on corporate safety videos, that sort of thing.
Don't follow this guy.
Yeah.
But anyway, I ended up doing pretty decent in that. I'm a member of SAG, which you don't have to be a member in the
Screen
Carolinas.
Actors Guild.
Yeah, you don't have to be a member here in the Carolinas. These are right-to-work states. So that's how I got my SAG card, because when I got my first speaking role, it didn't require me to have a SAG card because there's a right-to-work state. Once I qualified, which is you have to have some lines in a movie or TV show, Scattered Dreams for CBS television back in '92 got me the
Was
SAG
Gerald
card.
McRaney in that?
That's exactly right.
Okay.
And it's kind of a Christmas movie. I can't believe they didn't put that thing out,
And what's her name from Cagney and Lacey, right? Wasn't she in that?
Yes. God, what's her name? What's her name? I'm getting old, Jack.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I got into that. And then one thing led to another. Identity Thief, Matlocks, a bunch of TV shows.
You did a lot of stuff for Hallmark, didn't you?
Did one thing for
One Hallmark movie?
Yeah, one Hallmark movie. And one movie I really like it really was an independent film. I was up in North Carolina, and we filmed it right outside of Winston-Salem. And it was called Two Soldiers. It won an Academy Award. And you can see that on, if you go to your YouTube and put in Two Soldiers, you can see that movie. It's not like 40 minutes long. It's best short story for the Academy Awards back in 2003. So that was kind of neat.
Yeah.
That's pretty neat. And I love that movie. What else do you want to know? I got a daughter, Dara.
Right.
Dara Bordeaux Dawson. Now it's Dara Bordeaux Miller. She just got married a couple of years ago, and I got a fine son-in-law, Tyler Miller.
Yeah.
Great kid.
He's a great kid.
He is. And she's turned out to be quite a young lady for
Sure
having
is.
a pop like myself.
Good thing she gets her looks from her mom.
Yeah,
Well,
you
man,
got
that's
that
all
right.
the time we got, but
No,
at least folks get a little inside scoop at
it's quick.
Deacon.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's
You
it.
got your story in there.
Yeah.
I even learned some stuff today.
Yeah.
It's amazing what you learn when you keep your mouth shut. We'll be back with more River Talk.